What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. This is Eric, and today it's time to talk about Matrix Resurrections. And I got to be completely honest about this one. I got out of the theater early today, and well, it was definitely a disappointment. It was definitely a frustrating viewing. But that said, there were things I actually liked about it. I think I even liked it more than I expected, because some of those early reviews and early reactions really had my expectations way down there. So I went in thinking this was going to be complete and utter trash. I wouldn't say it was that, but it definitely wasn't great. I mean, I have to say it was a frustrating watch, because I actually enjoyed elements of it. There were moments where I was like, hell yes, I'm feeling this. I'm feeling this. There were moments when Neo would be talking to Niobe, and I would be really feeling it. Some of the tone was there at certain moments, but it would not last that long. And before I knew it, it would be back to the crap that most of this movie truly was. And really, that's the only positive I can give it, is just these few moments. Usually would involve Neo after Neo would be back in the real world. I actually really enjoyed the real world scenes, not when they were in the Matrix, but when they were outside the Matrix and he was kind of getting adjusted to how everything was now. He was back to it wasn't Zion, it was a new city. I forgot the name of it off the top of my head, but he was, talking to Niobe, learning what's going on, meeting the crew and all that, and having some questions, having some doubts, not only about, what he's supposed to do now, but if what he did back in the day in the original trilogy, what he had accomplished, if he accomplished anything. And just some of those scenes, more deeper moments and in deep conversations. When the movie got serious, in those moments, it was pretty damn good, and I was actually enjoying myself. But again, those moments were few and far between. So now we're going to get into the negatives and the things, and this could go into a little rant here, so be prepared for that. Because, okay, let's start with the self-awareness crap. Okay, my God, it was over the top. I mean, over the top. I'm talking about they are actually watching the Matrix in this movie. Now, it's a video game. That's the only difference, but it's still a trilogy. It's referred to as a trilogy, and the company that finances it is mandating a fourth video game, a fourth movie, if you will. And guess what the company is? Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers. They actually say it in the movie, and they say they're making us do a fourth. But if we don't do it, they're going to send, they're going to make it anyway. Like, they can't do that. Yes, they can. And it's like, okay, can you be any more self-aware? And if you want to do that and make a complete comedy and a complete parody, I mean, you want to go for that? You want to go for, Robin Hood Men in Tights and Naked Gun, whatever? Go for it. Hey, go for it. That might be funny. Except the movie gets serious. The movie is clearly a legitimate sequel at times. There's a story and a reason and a good movie that could have been made if they wanted to focus on that, on how Neo and Trinity survived. Why are they still alive? Why are the machines keeping them alive? And I don't want to get into spoilers, but the entire plot, there could have been a good movie there. There could have been a solid sequel there. But instead, other than these other mistakes and other missteps, in my opinion, that I'm about to talk about, they wanted to focus on this weird, you could have made Neo a computer programmer, which he is in this movie. He's a computer programmer or a game developer. And you could have done that and he made some games that had some aspects from the Matrix, from those original movies, because they were in his head, because he really experienced that, but he doesn't remember that. That would have been interesting, but it just went way over the top. I mean, a trilogy financed by Warner Brothers called The Matrix. A little much there. And they watch it, and it's the movies that we watched. It's the same movie. It was just way, way, way too much. But okay, you know what? If that was the only mistake that this movie made, it still could have been really good. I mean, that's just, if you want to call it a mistake. I mean, it was an intentional decision to do it that way. It's just something that I didn't personally enjoy. But the next thing I want to talk about are the characters. Now, most of them are not very memorable at all. I remember them, as opposed to, the original trilogy. Remember all those guys, Tank, Dozier, you can just name them off. Obviously, Niobe is a big one, and she's back here in this movie, which is really cool. But most of those characters are pretty memorable. Cypher, who can forget him, from the original. And, we remember them. We remember their names. Maybe not every single one of them. There were some side characters who maybe weren't too memorable, but most of them pretty memorable. This film, not really. I don't even know. I mean, maybe I'm at an advantage because I've watched those other ones a million times. You could say that. Possibly that's a legitimate counter to that, but I feel like these characters weren't that memorable. But the ones that are back who are supposed to be memorable or supposed to be awesome, I'm not talking about Neo and Trinity. I'm talking about Morpheus and Smith. Why were they recast? first of all. And second of all, they acted nothing like the characters they were supposed to be portraying. I mean, nothing, in my opinion. I mean, Morpheus was a little closer, but even when he first shows up, he does this little impression of Morpheus, then he's like, ha ha, how was that? And then his whole style is just a little more loose, a little more, like, not as serious. I mean, he's nothing like Morpheus. He doesn't remind me of Morpheus. That's me, and then Smith is even worse. Smith is nothing like Smith. You could tell he's not even trying to act like Smith. I think he was told not to. Because if he's trying to be Smith, he's a terrible actor. I mean, it's bad. I could have done better. Mr. Anderson. I mean, it's not, you could tell. Like the character Bane, in the two sequels, he had to act like that actor had to portray Smith because and he did a great job. Just saying, you could tell here, this Smith is nothing like Smith. Nothing like Smith. I don't understand that. And Morpheus is a legendary. Why? What was the point of the recast? I don't even get that. Apparently, Lawrence Fishburne wasn't even asked to reprise his role. I don't get that. Why? Saving money or something? So it was too self-aware. Morpheus and Smith, I don't understand. They weren't as good. I mean, why not just make new characters? I don't understand that. Another thing, constant flashbacks. Constantly. Little 5-second flash, 10-second flash from the original movies. Why? We've seen the movies. That's why we're watching this, because we're fans of The Matrix. Why do you keep on over and over? I don't mind a couple of times, maybe in certain moments. Maybe it's actually kind of cool a couple of times. But, I mean, 15, 20, 30 times? Why? Like we haven't, I don't understand that. That's almost like if I was to make a fan film and like I know my fan film is complete garbage because I don't have a budget and I don't know what I'm doing, so the movie might completely suck. But I'm gonna throw some little flashbacks from the real movies in there just so you can see some actual good stuff from time to time instead of my crap movie. But yeah, it's just a kind of reminder of how awesome the other movies were. I don't get that. I mean, you should stand on your own, make an awesome movie, make something badass. There's just a lot of this really relies on nostalgia to an insane degree. I mean, they repeat lines from it's basically a rehash. It's basically a reenactment practically at times. I mean, it really surprised me. I mean, there wasn't a whole lot of originality in this thing. And then that brings us to the action. It was okay. There's a few action scenes. I thought some of the CGI looked weird. I thought there were times that looked like I don't know if it was intentional. There were times I thought I was watching a video game. Like I almost could feel the controller in my hands. Like they looked like an entire CGI. Everybody was, I don't know if that was just me or if it was supposed to be like that, but it was kind of odd. But let's just say maybe I was just imagining. Still, the action wasn't, nothing groundbreaking, nothing crazy. I don't expect this movie to be another 1999 Matrix. But dang, I didn't think that they really put a whole lot of passion into, the camera work and all that and weren't too innovative in this. This felt like a cash grab, to be honest. It just felt like, hey, let's make some more money off this. Maybe the studio wanted to do it. Maybe that line in there talking about the studio's mandating a fourth one, maybe that was real. And Lana Wachowski was like, well, I don't want anyone else to be involved, so I guess I'll go ahead and jump in here and do it. The music didn't feel like it had much of an edge in this one. I didn't, the music is massive, like the Matrix, the music, that beat, I didn't feel it. Even the ending credits, it was like a cover of Rage Against the Machine. It wasn't an original. It was a cover band. I mean, all in all, it was a disappointing movie because I really think that if they would have brought back Morpheus, Lawrence Fishburne to play Morpheus, they would have forget Smith, or bring back Hugo Weaving, one or the other. Make a new villain. But, I mean, they had a new villain with the analyst, okay? Neil Patrick Harris. It was decent. I'll give him that. There were moments, even though he would be doing some kind of a slow motion. He was doing kind of a flash thing where he's like so fast, everyone else is pretty much barely moving. And those scenes looked a little wonky. The CGI or whatever the effects, and they looked okay. I mean, they were like, if one of my fellow YouTubers did it, I'd be like, damn, that's awesome, bro. That's amazing that you did that. But a multi-million-dollar movie and The Matrix at that? You need to knock me off my feet. I need to be like, whoa, when I watch a Matrix movie. Especially all these years later, 20 more years of technology developed. But they didn't take that route. They took the easy, quick buck route, I think. It was good to see some of the returning characters, like the little girl from Revolutions. I think it was a different actress, but she looked pretty similar. And it's cool that they brought her back. Again, the Niobe scenes, I really did enjoy those scenes. Not that Jada Pinkett Smith was, amazing or anything. I don't know why they had to make her so old, to be honest. There was a really brief flashback of her And I think they shot it. I don't think it was from the original. I could be wrong on that. They should have filmed more of that. They should have shown some flashbacks of what she was doing, in the interim. In the meantime, between Revolutions and this movie, what was Niobe up to? Show some extended shots of that. I think there was a good movie to be had here. I think there was a kick-ass movie to be had here. If you want to give us member berries, if you want to give us things to, nostalgia bait, bring back the actors that portray these guys. Bring back the real Morpheus, the real Smith, maybe, or maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe it probably took time to move on for Smith, okay? But, I mean, this is just weird. I mean, it's just weird seeing this different take on Morpheus. You bring back Jada Pinkett Smith, you make her 100 years old. It was kind of cool. That much time had passed, okay. And I really enjoyed those moments. But all in all, this was, it wasn't great. In my opinion, it was not great. And then there were some moments at the very end, some of the climax stuff where it's like, oh, of course that's going to happen. Some of that stuff where you're like, okay, you had to put your messaging in there and all that. And there's not too much of that. I'm not saying it's over the top, but it's definitely in there. And it just, it wasn't my biggest issue with the movie. I think the biggest issue, it was just that there wasn't a lot of passion behind it. It felt like a money grab. It really does. It really feels like a money grab with some good moments, some good acting. I thought that, Keanu Reeves was fine. Carrie-Anne Moss was fine, as Trinity. She didn't get a whole lot to do. She was fine, though. It was good to see her. It was kind of like the whole thing about watching this movie. It felt like the same thing that Neo said to Niobe during this movie when they saw each other after all this time. It's like, it's good to see you. It's good to see you too. It's not like they're in love. It's not like this is some big moment, but it's good to see you. That's what watching the movie. It's good to see it's good to see Neo back. Good to see Trinity, but good to see Niobe. But I'm not like in love with it. I'm not like, this is what I wanted. Yeah. Even the moments I liked in this movie were not that, like the action, like that. There was nothing. There was no big moments in this movie. It's just kind of a lifeless sequel. I would compare it to like the new Men in Black. Remember Men in Black International, how forgettable that movie was? It came and went, right? Nobody cares, right? That's kind of like this one, except for, at least they brought back, your main actors. But other than that, though not all of them. Lawrence Fishburne, where you at? But at the end of the day, I can't say go run out and see this. I can't say this movie is great. I can't say it's even good. I would say if you are absolutely bored and have nothing else to do, please check out this movie. See it if you're bored. If you have anything else to be doing, do that. But if you have nothing else to do, see it if you're bored, and only if you're bored. So that is my non-spoiler review for Matrix Resurrections. Not great at all. Not great at all. Disappointing and frustrating, because I think I was surprised. There were some elements that I was like, ooh, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. There's a good movie in there somewhere. It's in there. You got to extract that and find that good movie. But they didn't find it, in my opinion, and the passion wasn't there. That's my opinion. Let me know what you guys think if you saw it. I'll have a spoiler review coming up a little bit later. Guys, have a great day. I really would appreciate it if you could hit that subscribe button. Let's get to 1K. That would be great. We will talk to you guys next time.